Good day. Today we will have a session on experiencing meditation. It is just the beginning steps to get started, but one of the things that is very useful to keep in mind with meditation is that are simple steps, but we have to go into the depth of experiences and not wait for something explosive or something magical. But just the simple calming down is part of the meditation process. But what is just a few pointers, few um, ideas behind meditation before we go into an experience or practice. Um, there are many different types of meditation, and this practice is Raj Yoga meditation. And the aim of this practice is to shift from a mundane uh, consciousness, a mundane model in which we have grown, with which we approach life, to a more spiritual understanding of life and a more spiritual approach to life and to self also. And we made a few simple sketches just to illustrate that. But this is very important to keep in mind whilst practicing meditation. What is the aim of the meditation? So, this first simple sketch, which I draw almost every day, many times, just to remind the self that the human being is not just the body and the things around the body and the interactions around the body, but there is an experiencer, a being of consciousness, a being that observes and experiences what goes on. Now, the first step in a meditation practice is to decide to explore this spiritual perspective of self, this spiritual perspective of life. Not seeing myself as a body or the roles that are played or the interactions, but to understand the self as this non physical, spiritual experiencer. And to shift this consciousness, a mundane model. And in that mundane model, what has happened is we think we are born at a certain moment and we are born as nothing and as no one. And we will die at some moment in time, and we try not to think about that too much. We avoid that topic. And my sense of self and my sense of self-worth is based on what I accumulate during that life after birth. What education I get, the people around me, how the body is and how the body looks, and the color of the skin and the size. We create an identity and a sense of respect and a sense of self worth based on what we accumulate and what we get. And that, of course, makes the dying experience a horrible thing because that means I will lose everything. This is, in a nutshell, what consciousness, human consciousness, is at the present day. No matter what cultural background we have, and even no matter what religious background we have, many times. Now, the spiritual model is you are a spiritual being, and you are complete, and you are whole, and you are immortal. And that spiritual being is non physical, belongs to the non physical realm, is immortal, eternal, and is God-like in nature, divine in nature. And that being that is complete takes birth. And then the life experience is extra. And then when that experience finishes, that's fine. The being still stays who it eternally is, belonging to that non physical dimension, belonging to the family of beings that are godlike in nature, belonging to God. Now, meditation is a tool to bring about this shift in consciousness, to explore this spiritual perspective and the feelings that come from that, and to um, strengthen that consciousness so that we can carry that over into our day to day actions and day to day life, that we can live with this model of life, model of self. Hope that is, in a nutshell, a bit clear. So, how do we do meditation? Um, the first step is to shift your attention away from the physical and to become aware of your existence as an experiencer, separate from the bodily existence. Just to shift your attention away from everything around, everything physical, and become more introvert and aware of the inner being, the higher being, the being that gives life to the body. But that being is the real self. So to shift your attention, your thoughts away and become more aware of that inner being and then hold that awareness. And we call it concentration, but it just means you stay with thoughts and feelings that strengthen this awareness of the real self, the spiritual being. And you hold that and then you allow those more higher feelings to just evolve, to emerge. So shall we try? So I'll just slowly speak a few words suggesting what you could think to do this. And it is actually a very easy thing, but it is a subtle thing. We are not used to doing this. That is why it appears difficult. But it is just shifting attention away. So just for a few moments, keep the body comfortable. And become a bit more introvert. And as if bring your attention here, right now. And one easy way to do that is to become aware of the position of the body and relax consciously the hands and the legs. Become aware of the breathing, how air is pulled into the lungs and pushed out of the lungs, as if observing even this body. And then we become aware of the one who is experiencing this body and everything else. The one who is as if sitting behind the eyes, looking through the eyes. The one who is hearing through the ears. It's not the ears who are hearing, it is the one behind the ears. Not eyes are seen, but the one looking through the eyes. And this is a being of consciousness. And we can use this image of a tiny star, being of light, the experiencer. And we're very familiar with bodily energy and external dynamics in the world. But now just become aware of the inner dynamics. Here is this experiencer who is immortal, timeless. The birth of the body and the death of the body is separate from this experiencer. This experiencer transcends birth and death, transcends the limitations. It is as if guest, living being, and the innate nature of the being of light, the soul, is of innocence, clean, secure, because the life experience is temporary. It comes, it goes, but that being, the experiencer, is constant, eternal. This is the real self. And meditation is just about holding these kinds of thoughts in the mind and allowing the self to feel what it means to be immortal, soul, timeless, just a visitor, temporary in the body, needing nothing truly to exist. The whole life experience, the body, things around the body, it is all extra. And if it helps, just hold that image of tiny star, living being of light. Pure, innocent, serene soul. And just allow yourself to become familiar again with these soothing, calming experiences which are innate. And then as we aim to, as we come to the end of this experiment, you just aim to hold this understanding, even though we come again into sound and action. This was just a simple illustration on how it is. And of course, you can analyze it a little bit. What is as if the method? And you could say first you withdraw your attention away from everything physical and become aware of the experiencer, the one who is a guest, the one who is timeless. And then you hold those thoughts and allow the feelings connected to those thoughts to emerge. And then with different meditations, you can experiment with different themes. No? But the theme should have the aim to shift from this consciousness to this consciousness. So one theme in this here, the one that we did was the experiencer, and the experiencer being immortal and timeless. Another theme can be a guest. Guest doesn't own anything, visits and goes. Another theme can be the world of the experiencer, a world of silence and light. Another theme can be everyone is a guest. So different meditations, just you can adopt different themes, but the process is the same. Withdraw your attention from the external, become aware of the real self, and strengthen that awareness, strengthen that consciousness by taking a specific theme and letting all your thoughts only go around that theme for a minute or two, and allow those feelings to emerge, connected with your spiritual theme. And those feelings are healing, those feelings are refined. And then sometimes you get new insights, so you use that as the next theme for your next meditation. This is one way to approach Raj Yoga meditation.
Question: what if you decide to practice meditation and then you sit down, but thoughts from the normal life keeps coming up? Is there a method to overcome this?
Uh, Very good question, because this is what happens to all of us. What I do with that, of course, there is a world of knowledge behind, and there are deeper reasons in our subconscious why certain thoughts keep popping up, and at some stage we have to address that also. But what I do is I acknowledge that that theme or that situation is there, but I say, but for 1 minute, I want to reinforce something more powerful within myself. And I do that by focusing on this, and then I will come back to that. It helps for 1 minute, not much longer, but 1 minute it helps. But if if I'm able to withdraw myself from that situation and create a bigger perspective and then come back to that situation, it becomes more easy to see it in the right perspective or to have a proper approach. And that is, at least for me, that is what works. There might be other methods also.
What if when I practice meditation I become very calm and it has a positive effect on my life? But what if other people say that I'm becoming too detached?
But if other people say I'm becoming too detached, they might say that, but I personally feel that if through my meditation I become more peaceful, I become more loveful, then my interaction with them becomes of higher quality. And it might not be the way they used to know me, but if it becomes higher quality, then in time they will also value that. But at least I will be able to be more content with my own company. And because I'm not in this up and down mood swings. And detached, that word is many times very misinterpreted. Detached doesn't mean there are no feelings. Detached doesn't mean there is no compassion and there is no love. There is, but a healthy love, not a love that pulls me into things that are causing sorrow or stickiness or complications. But of course, there can be an initial phase of bit of a readjusting that needs to take place because people know me in a certain way, and now I am reacting a little bit different. So they might think, oh, what's going on? But if that different reaction is more positive, more healthy, ultimately they will be happy with that also. Like my mother, I used to be very untidy before. And she said, now that I'm meditating, I became so uh, tidy. Things are in order. And she said, in the beginning, she used to feel so uncomfortable when I would come home because I would not be the way she used to. She would pick up after me whatever I dropped. She had to tidy everything. And now she doesn't do that. She doesn't have to do that anymore. So in the beginning, it makes her feel uncomfortable, as if she's not necessary anymore. But the relationship evolves into another level of friendship where she doesn't need to pick up after me my untidy things. Okay, so we will finish with 1 minute of meditation again. So just again, make sure body is comfortable and relaxed. And as if withdraw your attention from external. And it's not that you ignore the external or others, it's just for this moment and choose choices to become aware of the inner being, the real self, the one who is experiencing everything, the one who is a guest in this world, guest that has come in this world and go. And that being, this real self, soul, doesn't need anything from this world. Divine in nature and timeless. A being that is by nature innocent and playful because absolutely secure has come in this world just to play a game. And even if the game finishes, that's fine also. Just we'll go back to the dimension of silence and light, home of souls, home of God, home of the family of godlike beings. These are simple truths. And meditation is about coming back to these simple truths again and again and allow the experience of that to emerge and awaken. And if it helps, again, just hold that image of a tiny, serene, subtle star, a living, conscious, divine being, a guest in this world. And in that silence, just hold those thoughts and that image. And if other thoughts come in, just say later to them. Just for a minute, I'm busy with this, and I'll come back to you. The more you do that, the more you will become trained in doing that. It's as if a subtle muscle that needs to be strengthened. And as we come to the end of this meditation, we aim to stay with these feelings, this subtlety, and with this broader perspective. And with that, you come into sound connection. Thank you.